Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel where we discuss all things living here in the great state of Maryland. So if that's the kind of information that you are looking for, then you are definitely in the right place. And we are going to jump right in today. So we're talking about the things to expect when living here in the great state of Maryland. And first off, I just want to start with weather. So as a transplant here to Maryland myself, one of the things that really excited me about living in Maryland was just having the four seasons. That is something that never gets old for me, being from Southern California. I just love having all four seasons, especially fall and spring. That's something that we really didn't see as much of, where I was from. So it's something that really gets me excited. Now, the other thing so one, you can plan on, all four seasons. It's something that we have, and that's awesome. So, but the other thing is that the weather can be all over the place. So, for example, we're sitting here, we're approaching Thanksgiving this coming week, so we're towards the end of November. But here in the month of November, here in 2024, we've had, a number of days, 65 to 70, something like that. It's been pretty warm. Then it'll cool down, be a high of, 55 or something like that. So, so while we have all four seasons, also kind of expect it to be all over the place. That's kind of a staple here for the weather, especially in Central Maryland. As always, just like to mention to everyone that I am a licensed realtor here in the great state of Maryland. So if you ever have any real estate questions, if you're wondering whether buying or selling a home here in Maryland is the right move for you, we absolutely love helping out and answering any questions that you may have when it comes to your real estate needs. So however you feel most comfortable, feel free to reach out anytime, days, nights, and weekends. We've got your back when moving here to the great state of Maryland. Next, just jumping into overall cost of housing. What can you expect? So according to Maryland Association of Realtors, currently here in Maryland, now this is a statewide stat, you've got an average home sale price of $507,000. You've got a median home sale price of $425,000. So of course, when I mentioned that that's statewide, just because it's going to change in certain areas. So if you are looking in, say, Montgomery County is, pretty heavily tied. It's technically a DC metro. So you're going to see higher incomes there. You're going to see that those higher home prices reflected as well, just based on that. You've got other, parts of Anne Arundel County, certainly parts of Baltimore County, Howard County, Prince George's County, where you are going to see, home prices be higher than those median and average prices as well. But it does give you kind of a good baseline, kind of a good average to kind of, know what to expect when it comes to overall cost of housing. So what my biggest recommendation to people is if you are thinking about buying a home here in the area, certainly just kind of, identify certain locations that are going to meet you and your family's needs, and then really going deeper into the research from there, and kind of identify a price point based on where you want to be, because you will see home prices range. They're going to have big ranges here in Central Maryland, and sometimes the average and the median prices can be a little misleading when it comes to home prices. All right, next, so to piggyback on cost of housing, we're just going to kind of stick with overall cost of living here in the state of Maryland here in 2024. Next, I just want to talk about state income taxes. So in Maryland, we are a pretty heavily taxed state, so that's something that you want to be prepared for depending on where you are coming from. Now, state income tax there's two parts that make up basically the state income tax. You've got the local meaning the county that you reside in. So the county that you reside in is going to determine a certain, tax rate. Usually that's going to range from high twos, so 2.75, say, to a little over 3% on the local. Then that's going to be combined with just a state rate, and they're going to combine that, and you're going to see that reflect on your tax returns as state income. So just like to let people know that there's two pieces that make up state income tax. So depending on where you're coming from, if you're not used to paying a higher state income tax or one at all, that's definitely something that you want to look into. I've talked about kind of the more specific, like where that tax rate is in other videos. I don't have those stats or those numbers today, but feel free to reach out. I can easily pull those up if you ever have any questions about where that would fall. And then next, cost of gas. So Maryland, for the cost of gasoline is typically around the national average. So right now we're approaching Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is about 5 days out right now. We are looking at gas prices right now of about $3 a gallon. So during the crazy, COVID, prices, I think we peaked right around high fours. And so that was crazy. Everybody was freaking out about that. But overall, I'm always still talking to my brother and some family in California, and they're always like $1.25 more than us. So it's, I always feel like Maryland's got a good deal when it comes to gas. But right now we're right around $3 a gallon, and hopefully we'll see that continue to ease and to get more affordable as time rolls on here. So next, I want to talk about homeowners insurance. We have seen homeowners insurance, and because I'm a homeowner, I've seen this go up the last 2 years especially. So I wanted to kind of touch on this. My homeowners comes up in December. So as I'm making this video, I've got my renewal premium coming up, and I've been shopping it a little bit. So I know exactly how far it's gone up. So 2 years ago, I own a single family home. 2 years ago, with a $5,000 deductible and a replacement guarantee through Erie Insurance. I think they're pretty local. I go through a broker here. Great. If you ever have any questions on homeowners insurance, feel free to reach out and I can connect you. But so Erie Insurance, so I was insuring my single family home with a $5,000 deductible and replacement guarantee. So what that means is, if the home got burned down tomorrow, no matter what it costs, they would replace the full cost of rebuilding the home. So I was paying $950 a year to insure my home. Pretty good rate, I think, based on what other numbers I've seen in the area. Last year, it jumped up to $1,350. This year, I got the renewal premium notice for over $1,900. And I called, trying not to be frustrated. So I called and basically got that down to, I think, $1,750. We had to lower a few, things or whatever, and got that down a little bit. And, I called 2 or 3 other companies, and a lot of them were in the 2,500 range. So I know I'm still getting, I think one of the best premiums that the market has to offer. But just to give you an example of what homeowners insurance has done here in the state of Maryland. Now, when I asked why, typical answers: inflation, cost of labor, those are the common ones. And then the hurricanes were a big one as well. So just a heads up when it comes to homeowners insurance, depending on the price point you're at, depending on the cost of home and the area, you're definitely going to see higher premiums than where they were a couple years ago, and that's probably to be expected. But to me, those were pretty big jumps. So if you're looking at now a CPI of a little over 2%, I was just like, well, these homeowner insurance jumps are way, way, way beyond that. So just a heads up on what to expect when it comes to homeowners insurance. And then property taxes, of course, are inching up a little bit as well. So that's something to just expect, and I guess that would be expected in an inflationary time like that we are in right now. So I always tell people, when you look at the retail price of the home. So if you're looking at a home for $500, I always think of it as a little over 1% of the retail price of the home in annual property taxes. It's not going to be exact, but it's a good gauge across the board of something to plan on. So if you're looking at a $500,000 home, you can expect annual property taxes to be somewhere around $5,500 to $6,000 a year. So if you just take that resale home price, times it by 1.25%, 0.0125, that'll give you a good estimate of what you can expect your annual property taxes to be here in Maryland. All right, next, when it comes to living here in Maryland, here in 2024, is just having access. One of the things that I love is having access to both of the dual metro areas. When you look around the country, I can't imagine there's a ton of different areas like this when you have 2 large metros within 45 minutes from each other. So having access to Baltimore, having access to DC within 45 minutes of each other, the job markets that creates, all the opportunity that creates is just something that I think is awesome for this area and everyone who lives here, and having all that opportunity of, one, just things to do, for yourself and with families. And then also, like I said, just the jobs and the markets that it creates, financially for people around here, I think is just something that a lot of other areas don't have to offer. And it's something that I absolutely love about this area. And then lastly, when it comes to what is it like living in Maryland, I just like to mention just one of the things that I absolutely love about living here is just the people. The people are amazing. There are so many different kinds of people. It's such a diverse area, and I'm meeting people daily and weekly from all different walks of life, from different countries, different backgrounds, all different races, and it's just everyone is just working hard to provide for themselves and for their families. And we just have great people here in Central Maryland. So just something I like to let people know, because I know a lot of people who are watching this channel are coming from different areas, whether it's around the country or even some people internationally. So amazing people here in Central Maryland. I don't think you'd be disappointed. So if you ever have any questions about what it's like living here in Maryland, feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the next video.